and you back up to the tip head. That's where they're working. He might be down the other side of that wing because he's sorting out what you lot have already done. This is where we're continuing on. So if they say, stop pulling the top of the tip head down, that means you have probably got most of your load over, but then your tray is still up. And so therefore, when you start to move off, you're pulling the dirt off that they're trying to build up so we don't go over the edge.
Welcome to the Beers with a Miner podcast. My name is Mad Mumzie and I've been driving the huge dump trucks in Australian open cut mines for over 10 years now. I wish I had $1 for everyone who said to me, "How does a little thing like you drive those big trucks? You must be rich. How do I get a job doing that?" My mining friends are asked these questions all the time too. This is what started the Mad Mumzie journey to share stories and tips from living a mining lifestyle and to let others know what it's really like. Tune in each episode as I sit down for a relaxed chat, usually over a few beers, with a fellow miner. Women and blokes with various experience, roles and opinions share their lessons and stories with you. Not everyone is cut out to be a miner, but why not? What does it take to thrive and survive in this industry? Now, let's dig in. Get it? Dig? Mining? Oh, crack me up.
Hello and welcome to episode 82 of the Beers with a Miner podcast. I am Mad Mumzie and this is an audio blog, just you and me. And we get to hang out and have a chat about cranky, bloody dozer drivers. And when you are a clean skin, a newbie, a greenie, or an NTI, new to industry. So many terms for what it is you might be yourself right now or what you are still hoping to be because you haven't got your start date yet. Or perhaps you're an old timer and you might get a laugh out of this as well. Perhaps you're a bloody cranky dozer driver yourself, or you might be one of the good dozer drivers that gives a little thumbs up, a little bit of hope to a newbie that you're doing all right, mate. Hang in there, because that's what got me through, thanks to me old mate up on the dump, which I've spoken about before. So I had a lady that I have helped in her mining journey and she's lovely and she got a start finally after trying for quite a while, and she messaged me the other day about she needed help up on the dump because it can be tricky, as you will hear. So that's what this episode is about. I wasn't sure if she was on roster or when we would actually get to catch up. And it's something, all of this, you can't send in a text message. So I hit record and then sent it to her. And I thought it was freaking gold. Just ask me, I'll tell you. But more to the point, it is helpful, I feel, to people that are learning. And it's a strange beast, a dump, and all the different scenarios that can come. And so that's what this episode is about. And I hope that you enjoy it. Now, are you ready? Oh, before we dig in, the show notes for this episode will be madmumzie.com/beers82, the number 82. And I'll share the first part and then we'll have a word from our sponsor, Bantax. And then make sure you listen to the second part, especially if you are one of the newbies, because I kind of clarify a few things. The first one was a bit of a rant and thoughts totally off the top of my head on a Saturday morning in my pajamas, having a cuppa to help out one of the people that I'm so passionate to help her succeed in mining and to thrive and enjoy it and not be crying in her truck, because no one wants that. So I hope that you enjoy it and get something out of it. Always hit me up on all the socials. Remember, if you listen to last episode, I am now at the real Mad Mumzie on F-Book, but Mad Mumzie is still on all the things. So stay till the end for part 2 as well, which is all about clarifying some of the things once I listened back, and a bit more gold came out. I actually just wrapped up having a beer with this lovely lady, and in person, not online or anything, came here to my studio. We sat down and I kept getting up and saying, writing on my whiteboard, oh, I've got to talk about that. I've got to talk about that. Oh my God. So it's good to see that she's not going to let them beat her. She's in this for the long haul, and I'm so very proud of her. Oh, anyway, let's dig in. Get it? Dig, mining. Oh, it cracked me up. And stay tuned, because there's going to be some more of this style after talking with this lovely lady and recording top of my head, off the cuff, because that's how I roll, right? I'm different. I'm not your textbook kind of help people learn about mining person. So if you need some help, hit me up, send an email, hello@madmumzie.com. Mumzie, because you never know what the social medias are going to do. But don't get me started. I'm going for a beer now. It's now Sunday, and this episode was recorded yesterday, as you'll hear. So never mind, I am on the beers now. I was on the coffee when this next bit coming up is. So sit back and enjoy. And if you've got any other questions, or if you're a dozer driver and you want to share your thoughts, hit me up. Okay, cheers. And stay safe, please. Stay safe. Stay to the end for that as well. Okay. Hello, my lovely lady. This is for you after your message saying you needed help for at the dump. It was definitely something I struggled with the most when I first started, and especially when I went on my own. I was always in trouble. And one day, I've spoken about this on the podcast, one day the dump dozer operator said to me, called me up, copy truck 5. I'm like, oh, fucking hell, I'm in trouble again. And he said, do you know how many koalas you just killed? And I'm like, what? And he was making a funny, because I actually got my load over in the right spot, and we were dumping straight over a forest. So of course he said that. All right, how wrong is that? But it took 9 months to get to that point. And then I left. And then he hated me because all the effort they put into me to get me to actually, for it to work. So I think, first of all, I really understand where you're coming from. You need to know that. And it's frustrating, and people tell you things in different ways, and you're like, oh, I don't get it. And it can really make you cry. Even just before I left, 13 years later, I was crying on the dump. Was going through menopause, but didn't know. But dozer drivers in the dump can be certainly different creatures to deal with. And although the procedure says they're meant to all do it the same, they don't. However, there's some things to understand. And I think the first thing for you is to, if you could start to write down, if you think of them, and then let me know that. That'll help me understand where you're coming from a bit better. When you are not getting it, what are they telling you on the two-way? What are they saying you're doing wrong? There could be lots of different areas. So you could be dumping it in the wrong spot, or you're dragging off the top of the tip head. Oh, I haven't got that one written down. Dragging off top of tip head. Or you could, so if that's happening, dragging off top. I'm writing on my whiteboard because I'm going to put this into start date. So thank you for triggering this in me. So if they say stop pulling the top of the tip head down, that means you have probably got most of your load over, but then your tray is still up, and so therefore when you start to move off, you're pulling the dirt off that they're trying to build up so we don't go over the edge. So you need to make sure that you're lowering your tray, which then makes the back of your tray start to come up the bit closest to the ground, like the tip head, the bund. They might say the bund. So, and then once it's down a bit, but then you also, sometimes they'll ask you to run it out a bit. And that means the tip head spot that they're working on is probably finished, and everyone will go to the next bit. But the last one, if they get you to run it out a bit, that's because that helps to keep their level and fill up where the wheel marks have been going, where you've been backing up. So sometimes they need you to fill up their tip head for that. And then the other biggest thing is the wings. So they should all leave a wing. There's other names for it, of which I can't think of any right now, but so you've got the line of the tip head with the bund that you're tipping over, and then there's another bit of dirt that sticks out, obviously, and sometimes you can't find it because they make the smallest little fucking wing. But that's where they want you to work. So they want you to work to the left of that. Remember, you're always dumping so you come up to the tip head clockwise. So you come up on the left because that's your on side. So you're always driving to where you've got to dump or where you've got to do anything, you're closest to it. So you're driving along and you go, can't see a wing, can't see a wing. Oh, there's a wing. Right, we'll go over there. So you go over to the wing and then you go and turn around. I'm doing this. This is why it's good to do it if we can see each other. And then you turn around and you back up as close to that wing as you can with your POS 3 tyre, your back left, and you back up to the tip head, and that's where they're working. He might be down the other side of that wing, because he's sorting out what you lot have already done. This is where we're continuing on. Always listen to the two-way, because that's when they'll say, righto, you truckies up on dump 21, or pink dump, whatever they call it. Back to the start. And back to the start is generally in a corner. Or sometimes it can be back to the wing, because that bit's finished over there. So this is our new start. So you always need to be listening, because if you go up to the dump and he's called up 3 or 4 times and said, bloody hell, truck, not you, to another truckie, truck 71, how many times do I have to say back to the start? And then if you pop up and go, oh, I don't know where to dump, and they go, fucking hell, here's another one who's not listening to the two-way. So you must listen. Tune into who your dozer driver is, and then they could swap out, see, and do a hot seat. So it's not your dozer driver anymore. That's why they are meant to say the dozer number and what dump it is, Or the digger, they might say digger 5 truckies, because that's where you're dumping from that digger up to there. So always listen to the two-way. Always on your left. Always make sure that tray goes down, but you don't want to go too early. Otherwise, you'll have carry back in your tray, which is dirt that hasn't come out. And if you get a nice brand new tip head, so no one has dumped there yet, or you can get lots of loads over because it's a long way down. The further down it is, the more loads they can tip over, because if you think about it, that's how long it takes to build up and build up and build up. And then the last few start to stick up over the top, and then they need a little bit to fill in the wheel ruts, and then we move to the next bit. So it's definitely an art. What else have I got written down here? So corners, they can take a long time to work on, because it's kind of like a bend, so it's not just going over in one spot. It'll go over and then spread out like around the corner, and so it takes a lot more trucks generally can go in the corner. So if you go into the corner and you don't get your load over, especially if it's a new back to the start and it's all fresh, and you should be able to get it over if the tip head height is right and everything. If you don't go back far enough, like your wheels are just touching the bund, and you just dump it on top, well, that corner's full. And he was expecting to get 20 trucks over there, or she. So in the corner, always 45. And that's what else they'll say. We'll write that down, Mad Mumzie. 45 in the corner. So corners, where have we got corners? 45. So you're on an angle. You're kind of in the middle of the corner looking out, right? So that's what they mean by 45 in the corner. And sometimes they'll say square in the corner, which is just, but rarely. You don't see that very often. And a lot of times in the corner, they'll want you to run it out a bit, then you'll push it, because they're always pushing the dump out a bit further, see? And then they'll get you to go back. So the other thing is levels. So sometimes a dump, depending on what sort of dirt it is, will start to go down, like sink a little bit. Not dramatically, but they have levels they've got to stick to. And so if it's starting to slump, sometimes they might kind of come back and start again and go back over it. Sometimes they'll be filling in a hole, because they want to make it nice and smooth and we want them to do that because we got to drive over it for the next how many weeks sometimes. So they might be randomly doing something weird in the middle, but that could be why. And generally they'll get you to spot to them. So they should have a procedure, whatever it is on your mine site. It's usually they got their blade in the air and their rippers up and they're just sitting in the middle of the dump. That'll mean they want you to come over there and dump next to them. So you turn around, always have your side close to them. And so you end up so that you're tipping, and then as you back into where you think they want you, right next to them, so you're backing in as if they're pointing at the tip head, but it might be out in the middle, so you're still spotting to do the same, no matter where they are. And that's so their rippers are facing out and the blade's facing where you're dumping, right? So your left is on their left, but they're facing the other way. That's what I mean. That's hard. But think of as they're at the dump, that's how you would like do it in the middle of a dump, how they would be pushing. And then once you're in the right spot, generally they'll reverse back. And that'll happen on the tip head too. Like they might spot you in. There might be some random spot on the dump that they want you to tip, and they might call you up, copy truck 71. I'll spot you in over here. It might be because that part of it's slumping, or that part of the tip head didn't get finished and everyone went back to the start, but it wasn't quite meant to yet, or something like that. And so they will spot you in, and then once you're in the right spot, generally they reverse back. You stop, tip it there. And a lot of times it might not be over the tip head because they're filling up and smoothing out and making things level. But always listen to the two-way so that you know, and you can hear what they're telling the truckies who have already gone up before you. That's the most probably biggest tip. I hope this helps. What else have I got on here? Wings, levels, corners. So there's the start corner and the finish corner. So the start corner, when you come on the dump, the start corner is generally the one on the right. So as you come up to the dump, the one on the right is the start corner, and the finish corner is the one on the left. Because you always start, the tip head always goes from the right and then goes, as you're looking at it, driving up from the right, and finishes out on the left. because you work your way along, and you're actually facing the other way, so that your on side, your left side, your seeing side is right next to where they want you to dump, all the way along. Okay, I'm going to stop this and I'm going to send it, and I hope that helps. If you have anything else that they're saying that you don't understand about anything, oh, let me know, and I love you, and I'm thinking of you, and don't give up on yourself. Don't beat up on yourself, because it's only been a couple of swings, mate. And it, like I said, it took me 9 months to get it. And even then, sometimes it goes crazy. Oh, and then they'll do better write that down, they'll do a lift on a ramp or something, lifts, or they're just building a road, like they're just building a ramp, and it's the same concepts. It's all the same concepts, except dump is only 4 tip heads wide, 3 or 4, like as wide as a haul road. And so that can be really, they suck when you gotta drive up a bit of a hill and turn around and reverse up with a load on, and try and get your load off on an angle. And if the digger driver, shovel driver is loading them forward, you can't get your load off when you're up there trying to throw it off, and that's a challenge for even the best truckies in the planet. So, but what happens there is it's basically the start corner and the finish corner, and 2 tip heads in between. And the dozer driver is just flat out the whole time. It's like when it works, it's amazing. It's like a dance, and everyone just knows what's going on pretty much. And a lot of times they'll get you to stop and wait, because they haven't got time in between I can't go and work on that area because you're right up my butthole. So don't get too close to them either, of course. I think that goes without saying, yet we need to say it. If you're not sure, just ask and say, I'm trying to get it, mate. Ask them at the dump. Ask them at crib time, that dozer driver, when they're on that dump, and say, so how come this happened, or why are you doing that? Like, understand. I really like to understand why shit's going on. It helped my brain to know, oh, I know why he's doing that, because I heard survey come up and say his dump was low. So he's got to start lifting it up, which means he needs more dirt in the one spot, whereas before he was just getting it over and over and over, and away we go. And then all of a sudden it's like, no, I need more. So keep listening to the two-way. Always know what's going on. You be the one in your brain or in your truck, and say, when people are calling up and saying, oh, does anyone know where where this truck is or something, you be the one that goes, well, that just went to the workshop. They just called up that they're at the workshop. So try to know what's going on and understand why. And if you're not sure, ask the why, because that will help you understand why they want to do it. But don't go too far the other way, which can also be a mistake, is like assuming, well, this is shit dirt and it's slumping, so I thought we'd be dumping short. Like, you could have that thought that, this is what they call poofed dirt, so it's got no substance and it's really soft, like topsoil. So if you're doing topsoil, I'll write that down on my little list. It is really, and wet is another one. Topsoil is really soft, and so it slumps, and so they have to keep coming back and building it up, and keep coming back and building it up. And don't drive too close to the tip head when you're doing your turn on that. It's good to drive in pretty close so you shorten your turn, but on topsoil you don't want to, because it could give way on you. So if it's soft material, turn out, and they'll tell you that. And plus, you mess up their tip head, because everyone's digging it out and they get cranky about that too. And it's the same if you're dumping wet stuff. Generally, they'll get you to dump it and then they have to push it down, like down the hill a bit, and then come back and build it up again. So you really need to know, you really need to listen, and don't beat up on yourself, because it can be fucking rocket science, mate. It's not just driving a truck up a ramp. How fucking hard can it be, like they keep saying. And that's why I do what I do. I hope this has helped, not hindered. Listen to this often, and who knows, I might even make it a podcast episode, so I can get hammered by all the other proper truckies and proper dozer drivers. But I definitely will make a part in what date, start date for this. So any other questions, hit me up. Hopefully this works. I'll save it as an MP3 and attach it to our message. I'm just talking on a Saturday morning here, and I'm still in my PJs, about to make the second coffee. So if you can hear traffic and shit in the background, it's because I just thought I needed to share this with you, because you could be struggling right now and you can get this at crib, have a secret listen. Don't share it with the trainers. Or you can, I don't care. Find out their thoughts. But yeah, I've probably missed some stuff. And like I say, whatever your procedure is at your mine site, that's what you need to adhere to pretty much. Each dozer driver will have their own little secret little ways. Some of them put their thumb up. Yep, you're right, mate. Tip it there. But you've got to be looking at them to know. That's why, in theory, they're meant to just back, because then you know you're in the right spot if you're spotting to them or whatever. So keep believing in yourself. Keep smiling. Keep blinking dollars. You will get this. And if I can help in any other way, and let me know when you're here and we'll go and have a beer. Okay. Hang in there, my friend, and I love you. You got this. And just keep believing, keep learning, stay open, ask questions, and without being the annoying one who asks 1,000 questions, but just or even another truckie, right? If the dozer driver is unapproachable, which many of them can be fucking cranky old assholes, it's true. Ask a truckie who's dumping on the same dump. How come he wanted us to do that? Or what, you were sitting there watching me, what was I doing wrong? Because that can happen too. And then you're holding everybody up. I'll write that down. Holding everyone up at the dump. I used to, when I was learning, sometimes I would just pull over and let people who were racing behind me, I'd just let them pass. I just gotta pull up over here, mate, and check something on my truck. And then they go, fuck off, get off my ass, stop watching me, you're putting me off. Messes up the cycle a little bit, because the digger driver is expecting a truck, but don't be too long, and don't do it all the time. I used to pull up, let everyone pass, and then go. Oh my God, I was so bad. Okay, hang in there, my friend. I love you so much. And I'm going to go make my coffee. Cheers.
Now for a word from our sponsor, Julia Hartman and the Bantax Accounting Group. If you head to bantax.com.au/miners, that's BANTACS, you can download a free booklet, all just for us miners. And there's also a spreadsheet in there that helps you check off what tools you have for your trade, like your isolation lock, work boots, 7 shirts, all of these sorts of things, and you can weigh them up and it'll tell you if you qualify weight-wise to claim your trips out to work. I strongly urge you to head to bantax.com.au/miners and tell them Mad Mumzie sent you.
So as an add-in, I just listened back, and a couple of things I was thinking of, but I did touch on those at the end about the procedures on your site. So different sites will have different procedures about actually how far you're allowed to back up to the tip head, to the buns. Some let you touch, some don't. And some say you don't, but the dozer drivers want you to touch the bun. So there's that little line, just saying. And also the other part was about when a dozer driver backs back, that means he wants you to tip it off. There's times where that is not the case. So they might be working on an area and they're farting around and they'll say, "Oh, just come over here and I'll spot you in at the tip head." And they might just back you back to say you're in the right spot, and then they fuck off and go back to what they're doing. But they still expect you to go all the way back. So you need to read their mind to know which it is. But if you're listening and you know what's going on at the dump, that could be it. And the other thing I wanted to confirm is when I said about you be the one who knows what's going on the mine site and where everyone is. I don't mean call up and be the one who answers. I mean in your head, in your truck, which is what I said at the start of that little rant there. So you can say out loud to yourself in the truck without the two-way about that truck has gone to the workshop or whatever. So it just is a good way to know that you are present and you're listening to what is going on. I hope that helps. Looking forward to your feedback. After listening to that, I think if you have, you look at your procedures, you talk to your dozer drivers, you talk to other truckies and your trainers. Remember, you can always go back to trainers. You should be able to. Just because they've thrown you out on your own doesn't mean you're on your own. Just to confirm and to clarify some things. And they'll train you because I'm going to release this as a podcast. So for those listening, listen to your trainers, listen to the people that are in a truck with you and do it their way. Just keep some of those things in mind that I touched on that might help it all fall into place. It's like going past the digger before you do the turn. It's the same. See, because on the dump is a J, well, they have different curves. So a J curve means you've got to go do a big U-turn. But then other sites, they expect you to get in and do it shorter, but you're not allowed to go behind the dozer, but the dozer's there, but that's where they want you to turn. Just don't go behind a dozer unless you've had POSCOMs coming behind, and you will need that, when you're doing a small tip head, tie area, drop cuts down at the digger and shit. There are plenty of times you do have to go behind a dozer, but make sure that you both know that is happening. And give them a bit of space. You don't have to be right up their butthole. Like I said, I laughed out loud when I heard myself back saying that. So I will release this as a podcast. It will be audio in my Start Date Now What course. What's that, Mad Mumzie? Well, if you head to mining.teachable.com, there's heaps of online courses there, and my new baby I'm very proud of is called Got a Start Date Now What? It's all about helping to choose your uniforms and know what to expect, why things can change, why you might be on a crew and then they put you on another crew, what to take to camp, what machines you'll see on site, and how to get on in your crew and etiquette at the laundry, even stuff down to the crib huts. And because this is something that is still growing and always evolving and will be never ending, you get lifetime access to this course, and it just will keep building and growing as things like this come and time allows. So, we go into fatigue and getting to and from site, dealing with cranky people and family issues. What do we do when shit goes down and you got to go home? Do they let you? So there's all of that. And now, which has always been on the list to do, but thanks to this lovely lady sending me a message on a Saturday morning in desperation saying, help me on the dump, I will really start working on sections like this about for when you're a truckie. And I've been a truckie, a water cart loader and grader operator. So give me time, they'll be in there as well. If you haven't got a start date yet, I still think it's highly valuable to know what to expect when you do. And it's telling the universe that, yep, I'm going to do that one day. And that day is coming. So, do the free course called Pounce, how to pounce on your mining job. And there is an audio version of that comes with the PDF, so you can still see all the links and everything. And that covers things like Standard 11, cold board medicals, a big list of most of the players in the labour hire game, all contractors, all the mines, good Facebook groups to sign up to, and right down to what to take with you when you go do your Standard 11. Tips like you got about dumping on the dozer, but about before you even start, all with my very different Mad Mumzie style, not a trainer or a highly glossy little handbook that you get from the labour hire company or someone like that. You get it from the heart, from someone who's been there and done it and is still very connected to people who do it. And I'm very proud of that effort and the stuff that I've been doing for you since 2016, and then of course there's this podcast. But yeah, so head to mining.teachable.com and have a look. See there, I'm building a community in there. I'm just trying to work out how to make sure that community on Circle for all my teachable people is like, so to be like a Facebook group, but from within inside that online resource there, mining.teachable.com. I'm just trying to make sure that the link that I share to get you in means that you don't have to sign up. So I had to sign up to create the community, but by going in through Teachable, which is where my online school is, as they call it. I don't like that word. School, the school of mining. It's my online courses, but now there'll be a community in there as well, and that's free. You can just go and sign up to that, and that's it, and then there's other courses as well. So I want to do Facebook Lives. See? Well, because if you listen to the last episode, I'm a little bit over F-book. I'm still there because that's where my people are who are so desperate to get into mining. And if that's you, head to mining.teachable.com. I hope having a bit of an insight about what it's like for a truckie, a learner truckie on a dump, that this has helped. And if you're a dozer driver, be nice. Please help my peeps. Sit down if they ask you a question, or you sit down and say, now listen here, mate. Eventually it'll sink in, but do it in a nice way. I know you're trying to learn. You say to them, I know you're trying to learn. It's a lot to take in. And say, don't want you to be like Mad Mumzie and take 9 months to get it. So this is what I think. Forget everything she said. Do it my way. Oh my God. But remember, ask questions, listen to the two-way, follow your procedures for your site because they are different on different big mining companies have different. It's mostly about your distance and if you can touch the tip head or not. All right. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to go. I'm still in my pajamas. I've had my second coffee and enjoy whatever it is you're about to do. And if you're listening to this in a truck, please, or any machine, or you're on a plane on the way, hello to all my WA listeners. Please stay safe because we just found out this morning that another miner has died here in Central Queensland, underground. I got a message from someone very close to me early this morning who knew all about it and was going to a meeting to hear. So as I was recording this, a notification, you'll probably hear it, came on my phone, and it's just been released to the news by the sound of it because I got a notification from the ABC. So it's official now. We're sending love and angels to the coal mine worker who has passed away today, 26th of March 2022. Hashtag 1 minute for our lost miners. Again, light a candle, take a minute at your pre-start meeting, please. Bow your heads and send love, angels, thoughts, prayers, whatever your go-to is, to friends, family, workmates, all the first responders, the mining community are with you. And now comes the time where we wait to see who the fuck it was and do we know them. And if you listen to What Boots podcast with my sister, Steel Cap Sisters, What Boots, we've got a whole episode about that and how I deal with that. Because the real miner is an underground miner, and so is my sister's partner. He's underground jumbo operator over in WA, and my stepdad's still out in the mines, my other dad. And most of my friends and all my past work colleagues, and mining is still me, even though I don't actively pack up my shit and go over the hill anymore. Except to come out for a visit and have a beer with you all. Okay, I'm going to go and head over to mining.teachable.com. Light a candle tonight and have a beer. Hashtag 1 minute for our lost miners. Until next time, stay safe, be real, be special, and have fun. And good luck on the dump. Cheers.